Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and Barack Obama just made a very chilling, among many, statement at the United Nations General Assembly where he went on September 20th and gave his final speech. Now we know that Barack Obama only has a few months left in office. Well, at least we hope he only has a few months left in office, and he did not plan on going out with anything but a bang. In his latest speech, I'm going to play quite a few clips for you here and then some dialogue in between, but in his latest speech, he did nothing but push globalism, a new world order, which he calls a global international order, he has various names that he used throughout it. But during the speech, he did things such as put down nationalism, those who are patriots, who have faith in their country, who believe in our principles from the founding of these countries, even painted religion as a problem. He also addressed how Americans need to give up some sovereignty and put some constraints on our country to allow these international laws to take effect. I don't know about you, but we are one country. We're not a new world order. We're not a global order. We're our own country. And I stand firm on that, because if we look at history's past, anytime that one tyrant went over an entire country, or I have a body of people, there is more corruption than any other time in history. And us, the people on the bottom, are the ones that get the end of the barrel, so to speak. But let's take a look at some of the clips that Obama talked about. Here's the first one.
In order to move forward, though, we do have to acknowledge that the existing path to global integration requires a course correction, because too often those trumpeting the benefits of globalization have ignored inequality within and among nations, have ignored the enduring appeal of ethnic and sectarian identities, have left international institutions ill-equipped, underfunded, under-resourced in order to handle transnational challenges. And as these real problems have been neglected, alternative visions of the world have pressed forward, both in the wealthiest countries and in the poorest. Religious fundamentalism, the politics of ethnicity or tribe or sect, aggressive nationalism, a crude populism, sometimes from the far left, but more often from the far right, which seeks to restore what they believe was a better, simpler age free of outside contamination. We cannot dismiss these visions. They are powerful. They reflect dissatisfaction among too many of our citizens. I do not believe those visions can deliver security or prosperity over the long term, but I do believe that these visions fail to recognize at a very basic level our common humanity. Moreover, I believe that the acceleration of travel and technology and telecommunications, together with a global economy that depends on a global supply chains, makes it self-defeating ultimately for those who seek to reverse this progress. Today, a nation ringed by walls would only imprison itself. So the answer cannot be a simple rejection of global integration. Instead, we must work together to make sure the benefits of such integration are broadly shared, and that the disruptions, economic, political, and cultural, that are caused by integration are squarely addressed.
So there you have it, out of the horse's mouth himself. So what did he start with? He said to move forward into globalism. That is new world order, an international order, a one world system where the United Nations, is at the very top of that. He says we have to change course, meaning we cannot continue as a sovereign nation, as our own country. We need to allow in this stuff. Then he went on to paint religion, aggressive nationalism, crude populism, which he specifically referred to as people who believe in our founding fathers, people who are like those who started the rebels, so to speak, in the very beginning, that made our country what it is today, that brought the freedoms that we had today. That's his definition of that. Those people, he specifically refers to that we cannot dismiss the views of these people, the views of religion, the views of nationalism. These things are, quote, not a good thing. He even makes reference to Donald Trump and the wall that he puts up as well. There's a hint back in that if you want to go back through it. But he says that these people are unhappy. Well, absolutely. You're taking our country, President Obama and Hillary Clinton, into a progressive, communist-style, tyrannical regime. I'm not going to give up my sovereignty, my freedom here in America for such a regime. We are a country. We are a nation. We were founded on Christian principles. But more, even very important, we are founded on freedom. And that's what I am going to stand on through thick and thin. Now, he also says that people like us are going to reverse the progress. Well, hell yeah. I don't want the New World Order to come in. I don't want a set of international laws that tell me what I can and can't say on the internet, that tell me what I can and can't say if I'm unhappy with a particular regime in our government. I don't like that. That's what we see happening in countries like China, Korea, and multiple different countries out there where journalists are harassed. And here's the thing, he did say some good things in the speech. Okay, there's always a little bit of sweetness to go with the poop, so to speak, a little bit of poop in the pie, as I like to say. And Barack Obama didn't let us down. He had some good points in his speech, but then some poopy in there as well, or some bad stuff. But he says that we cannot continue to reject this global order, but instead, and probably the most powerful part was the last couple of words, and I encourage you to go back and play that clip, but he says this: we must not allow these disruptions to continue. He doesn't say it in that manner. He says that these disruptions need to be addressed. Well, how do you plan on addressing these disruptions, Obama? Do you plan on doing that through censorship on October 1st when you sign away or give away the internet to a bunch of dictators and tyrannical leaders and those who are already censoring the internet? Is that part of your disruption plan to silence us? I don't know about you, but that's something we need to think about. Here's another clip of President Obama at the United Nations General Assembly speech.
But there appears to be a growing contest between authoritarianism and liberalism right now. And I want everybody to understand, I am not neutral in that contest. I believe in a liberal political order.
A liberal political order. How about a free political order? Well, that wasn't the word he used. He used liberal. Well, let's look up. I know you guys know the definition, but I think this is kind of an important aspect of what he's saying here. According to Wikipedia, the encyclopedia, liberal means open to new behaviors or opinions and willing to disregard traditional values. So what are you saying there? That you don't want our traditional values that stood for us at the beginning of this country? Maybe it's a little different. Here's another clip of Obama's speech.
We can only eliminate extreme poverty if the sustainable development goals that we have set are more than words on paper.
So we can only eradicate and eliminate poverty if we submit to Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals, which tells us we have to close a lot of businesses, we have to spread the wealth around into other countries, we have to push down ourselves here in America, and not to mention the depopulation strategies saying that we're overpopulated throughout that whole agenda. That's how we eradicate Obama. Please make sense of that to me, because it makes no sense. The only sense that it can make is if you spread the wealth around, thereby making us a poorer country, and putting us all at the bottom of the barrel so the ruling elite are at the top. After all, this is one of the foundational beliefs of President Barack Obama, who himself is a Muslim communist dictator, in my opinion. Here's another clip.
And we can only realize the promise of this institution's founding to replace the ravages of war with cooperation if powerful nations, like my own, accept constraints. Sometimes I'm criticized in my own country for professing a belief in international norms and multilateral institutions, but I am convinced that in the long run, giving up some freedom of action, not giving up our ability to protect ourselves or pursue our core interests, but binding ourselves to international rules over the long term enhances our security.
What are you saying here, Obama? You want us to accept constraints? You want us to give up our freedom of action and bind ourselves by international laws? By golly, that explains a lot of what you did when you were in office. And unfortunately, we still have a couple months of you in office. Maybe that's why we have Obamacare. Maybe that's why we have the UN in all 50 states in America. Maybe that's why we have UN pushing organizations in our colleges. Because they want to give our freedoms up to an international body. So you and I can be more like China, or more like Korea, or more like these Stalin, Mao, and Hitler dictatorships we've seen in the past, right? It's disturbing. And I think it answers the question to what's ahead in our future? A new world order, unless something is done to stop it. Here's another clip of Obama.
We are all stakeholders in this international system, and it calls upon all of us to invest in the success of institutions to which we belong. And the good news is that many nations have shown what kind of progress is possible when we make those commitments. Consider what we've accomplished here over the past few years. Together, we mobilized some 50,000 additional troops for UN peacekeeping, making them nimble, better equipped, better prepared to deal with emergencies. Together, we established an open government partnership so that increasingly transparency empowers more and more people around the globe. And together, now, we have to open our hearts and do more to help refugees who are desperate for a home.
There you have it. 50,000 troops for the UN, a peacekeeping force, who I think you failed to mention on their website that they hire specifically for disarmament and demobilization and reintegration, meaning they want to take away guns. That's what that means. And reintegrate into society, meaning a re-education of the brain, a brainwashing of people to get them to accept certain views. This is not against any government, for that matter. They all use brainwashing techniques to get the job accomplished. And here's Obama's own admission of pushing a new world order rather than a United States of America. The United States of America isn't what his goal and a dream and aspirations are on. Neither is Hillary Clinton's. Their goals and aspirations are on a new world order. And I say that with all sincerity and in all truth, because that is where these tyrants want to go. They want to kill American patriotism. They want to kill our country and usher in a new world order. That entire speech, if you listen to the hour some odd that Barack Obama was up there, that was the whole agenda of the UN speech. And I'm going to leave a link below. And I encourage you to check it out for yourself as well. Anyhow, my heart is to warn each and every single one of you out there for what's ahead. Because we just don't know. And here's some, things that might happen in the very near future. With Hillary's health heading straight south and Donald Trump pushing patriotism of America, I think the globalists are a little terrified. because, well, it's likely Trump is going to win the election if a ton of fraud isn't done with Hillary Clinton trying to get her in office. So, are they going to do something major? Are they going to crash the economy? We already know it's on the brink. We have forecasters, and I've not done a report on this recently, but I need to. Forecasters coming out saying 2016 is the year. Well, I know they've said it about other years as well. And I just don't know. And I honestly think that if they do crash it, they may wait until the next president is in line, because I don't think Obama wants that on his record. But I could be wrong. You know, we don't know when it's going to happen. Nobody does. But I know it's already topsy-turvy as it is. And if they want to throw another kink in the wire, well, that's how they're going to do it. They can crash the economy. And hopefully Obama won't declare his martial law and stay in office. He certainly has the ability to do so. Will that happen? I don't know. Nobody knows until the time goes. But knowing their playbook, I think it's an option. They may let it play out. They may assassinate either Hillary or Trump. I don't know. But I think they're nothing that we should ignore. That's a bold speech. And one in a direction I sure the heck don't want to go. And biblically speaking, as a Christian, it does tell us that in the end times, which I believe we're living in the latter days, spoken of in biblical prophecy, that one will rise above them all, the Antichrist. And he will rule over every tribe, tongue, and nation. That is a new world order. And it never turns out pretty. And if they use an economic crisis to get us there, well, you better be prepared for it. And if you're not prepared, I highly encourage you to get prepared. And one of my sponsors here and partners here is foodforliberty.com/haven. If you don't stock up with food through, food storage companies or Food for Liberty or any other food company that's out there, stock your own. Pack your own food. Make sure you have food, water, medical supplies. All these things are going to be crucial in the last days, especially if something happens with the economy. You're going to want to be ready. And I personally use foodforliberty.com/haven. I also pack my own. So I do both. In addition, please make sure you are keeping your health A+. GetTheTea.com has lots of great products. Again, another thing that helps sponsors what I do here. Without these people here, I would not be able to do what I do online for you guys. So please make sure you check them out. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe. This is Lisa Haven, signing off.